Handy.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Politicians say things like, our kids are our most precious assets. What's that really mean? As a parent, nothing is more important to me than my kids, my family. Some of you know that I delayed running for office until I was into my 50s, just so I could be home and around my children, to help with their homework, to watch them run cross-country, to read to them before bed. You who are parents or grandparents understand what I mean. When we send our kids off to school, we hope and we pray that they will be nurtured, supported, and educated so they can become good people, educated people, and contributors to society. We as parents have a right to demand that our children receive a first-class education, and that's true no matter where they live, in Pepper Pike, in Columbus, or in Trimble. Today, we will take a major step forward toward supporting Ohio's parents and fulfilling the state's constitutional obligation to provide excellent education for all Ohio children. We are introducing an education plan that will prepare young Ohioans to be responsible citizens ready for the 21st century economy. For years, Ohio's K-12 education system has been broken. The Ohio Supreme Court has ruled over and over that the funding plan for education is unconstitutional. That's because in many parts of this state, kids and teachers have not been given the resources they need to succeed. And for years, the governors and legislatures of this state have failed to come up with a fix. The status quo is not acceptable. This year, Governor Strickland has proposed a major overhaul for Ohio's K-12 program. His proposals are bold, his proposals are comprehensive, and his proposals are positively transformative. Is the plan perfect? No. But that's what the legislative process is for. We in the House have spent weeks carefully examining every part of this massive plan. The subcommittee on K-12 education heard more than 50 hours of testimony from more than 320 witnesses. The process has been open and transparent. People testified from every stakeholder and interest group from every part of the state. In addition, you in the media did your job raising many questions. We in the House listened. We reviewed piles of information. We even reached out and spoke to the researchers and creators of the evidence-based model. We have deconstructed and reconstructed the funding proposals. We have tested every aspect of the model, and we have made multiple changes and improvements, all with the goal of fulfilling our obligations to Ohio's parents and children. I want to share some of those with you now as a snapshot of what Representative Dyer will share in more detail in a few moments. The original plan used a teacher salary figure that was too low. We raised it. The original plan cut funding for nonprofit charter schools and totally eliminated charter schools operated by for-profit companies. We have gone a long way toward restoring funding for all high-performing charter schools, as long as those schools meet transparency, accountability, and performance standards. We will support the good charters that are truly teaching our children. We have revised the funding formula so that the poorest districts will generally be raised up. This is critical to reducing the disparities among districts and to create, for the first time, a constitutional funding formula that helps kids all across the state. We have incorporated distance learning programs, which will multiply exponentially the number and variety of classes available to every student in Ohio, regardless of the wealth of the district. By the second year of the biennium, students will be able to choose among dozens of AP, foreign language, math, science, and other classes, in many cases qualifying for both high school and college credits. Apart from funding, the education program makes many other transformational changes. Perhaps most important, we have maintained an extension to the time it will take for teachers to obtain tenure. We have maintained the 20-day extension to the school year. We have maintained improved teacher training. And we have maintained the governor's change in standards, making it easier to terminate teachers who do not perform adequately. I want to take a moment to thank some of those people who have given a huge, huge effort to help us rewrite this education plan. Representative Stephen Dyer, who you will hear from in a moment, has taken the lead. He has done just a tremendous job. I also want to thank Representatives Garrison, Lucky, Mag, and Morgan for their long hours and excellent work. Representatives Debbie Phillips and Brian Williams contributed a critical effort as well. Our House staffers, Carrie McDonald, Lauren McMillan, and Whitney Seacrest, have gone well beyond the call of duty. And we are so fortunate to also be joined today by Bill Phillis of the Ohio Coalition for Equity and Adequacy. Bill has been the conscience of the school improvement issue for decades, never giving up on advocating for an equitable, excellent education system for Ohio. I also wish to give very special thanks to the staff of the Legislative Service Commission. They have been unfairly criticized in recent weeks. Several years ago, the legislature merged the Legislative Budget Office into the Legislative Service Commission. While the LBO lost its separate identity, most of the personnel and the tasks remained the same. The Legislative Service Commission has examined lots of facts, figures, and evidence to give us nonpartisan, independent assistance in fashioning our changes to this complicated education plan. I appreciate and I recognize their excellent, independent, trustworthy service to the House and to the people of Ohio.